on, everybody? Welcome again to Music and Profits Podcast. I'm Courtney Benjamin.
And I'm Ron D.
And we have a very special guest today, Latoya Cooper. And today is going to be a good one, man. We talking about bringing the artists to the boardroom. You know what I'm saying? So you know what that means. Get that hobby mindset out the way and get that business going. You did. Church. All right, well, without further ado, I would like to introduce Latoya Cooper to everybody.
Yes.
Thanks for being a guest on our show. We definitely appreciate your time. And tell us a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. So I was born and raised out of all places, Oklahoma, in the middle of nowhere, and but I came out the womb a creative soul and songwriter and dancer and just a visionary and didn't even really know what that was. I just knew I had this, I could see things, and I went to college in Oklahoma, moved to Dallas. I've been in Dallas now for about 15 years or so. I've traveled the world as a singer, and Meets the Boardroom was kind of birthed after going to graduate school and getting my MBA and working with CEOs in corporate spaces. And in addition, we're working with artists, and they were loving what I was doing and how I was running my business. And many artists were coming to me wanting to know how I did this and how I did that. And I had a mentor of mine in the industry, and he pulled me to the side one day and he said, "Latoya, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "What? I'm helping artists." And he's like, "You have something here. You need to build it." And about 2 weeks later, I birthed Meets the Boardroom. And this was several years ago. And I'm just excited about the mission around Meets the Boardroom. When I first started, I wasn't very clear about that. I didn't know what that was or what it was going to look like. And now I have, a more clear vision around the model and what it can be and how it can impact the lives of artists in a very positive, empowering way. And I am ready for it. I am ready for the wheels to turn. And I think this is the time. I think COVID during this time frame just opened up a world of possibilities and opportunities for artists, even though the industry has been affected in a very impactful way. I think it's just opened up some doors, and I'm ready to run in, not walk in. I'm ready to run in and take some artists with me. All right.
Definitely. Yeah. So speaking of that, how important do you think, or how important do you believe artists' business development and development all around is important to an artist's career?
It's when they say it's like 80, 90%, they're not lying. And I think that nurturing the business side of our craft is going to just open up so much more opportunity for artists. It's a business, regardless of what industry you're in. Business is business. And I think that just making it more palatable for people to take in and see, what the possibilities are around it, and breaking things down and sharing new avenues that are happening. And I'll just say this right now with the music industry, it is changing so fast. And the digital space has always been kind of intertwined with music over the past X 20 years or whatever, but now it is really getting its hands into music. And for example, like music NFTs, that has popped up over the last few years, and artists are like literally dying to figure out what this world is. And we're opening up conversation. We're bringing people in who are experts in this space, and they're sharing the information with artists to help bring more artists into the space before, all the labels get in there and do their own thing. So.
Oh yeah, because they coming.
Oh yeah, they already in. They trying to get in. I've been studying music NFTs and stuff, and they're already investing in some platforms and stuff.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm interested in learning, and I was trying to find me a class on the NFT stuff because like it's really. I've seen one artist actually get some art pieces out of it, and he is killing it right now. So I've been reading about his articles and stuff going on, and he's been touring, so I haven't been able to just sit down with him and just, you know, just pick his brain about it. But I'm definitely interested in learning about that, because it's a world that we don't understand fully, but it's taking over.
It is. It's going to take over, and it's going to take over fast. And I don't want independent artists to get left behind once again.
Exactly.
So with that said, I'm going to drop the very first thing that you should do. The very first thing you should do is open what they call a wallet. Okay. Start there, and then everything else research, and you can build from there. But open up your wallet.
Okay. Gotcha. So open up the wallet, everybody.
Yes. And there's different wallets for different types of cryptocurrency. So based on the platform that you want to sell your art, it's going to tell you what type of wallet currency formal, you know, I'm still learning some terms or whatever. It's going to tell you which form of currency it accepts. And then you go open a wallet that has that form of currency.
Okay. Yeah. See, we can talk outside of, once we finish the podcast about all this stuff. You know, I've been investing in crypto for a while.
Oh, you're good.
I manage my brother's account as well, and my brother's incarcerated, so I'm managing his account as well. So, and we'll talk about. I don't want to make this a crypto conversation, but the beautiful thing about what Latoya discussed is that the way music is now is that you got so many investment platforms now. You know, you got royalty exchange, you got NFTs. Back before, you would invest in other things, but now you can invest in other people's catalogs via the internet, NFTs, all types of stuff. So you can stick, if somebody wants to say, you know, well, I want to stick in the music field. Now you can pretty much buy digital real estate. You can go buy someone else's portfolio and all these types of things. So it's very important to look into these different investment avenues for the people that just say, I just want to do music. I don't want to do anything else. Well, you can invest into it as well. It's like real estate, NFT, same thing. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's a big world out there, man. So just want to throw that out there. When Latoya was talking about it, I just kind of thought about that.
I totally agree. And I think that as artists, really understanding what we carry and what we hold, which is intellectual property, and investing in that, like you said, it's not just creating it, but also investing in it. And I think education in terms of what intellectual property is and what type of intellectual property we hold and that we can really invest in addition to tangible assets such as land and houses and cars and all that stuff, but also intangible assets, which is where your music is, and your copyrights and your trademarks and things that don't have a financial cap, which is a lot of, you know, possibility around that. So like you said, just opening up, continue to have conversation around that is really important. A lot of artists don't know that they can invest in other artists' music. Yeah. Yes, there's central platforms that for that very thing. Yep. And more are popping up all the time.
Yeah. I mean, like me and C talk about it all the time. Digital real estate. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can have a house and then have your virtual property sitting right there being rented out. Mm-hmm. And I tell people all the time, one of my companies, one of our objectives is to help businesses get financing. And I tell people, I'm like, look, when you buy these catalogs come with statements. What are they going to ask for when you go get financing? Let me see the bank statements. Let me see these statements or whatever. The royalty statements are the same thing. So you can still treat the music like a business and go get royalty financing and all types of stuff. For some reason, people like, well, the money's coming from somewhere. That's what the banks want to see. Mm-hmm. So there's nothing wrong with you treating your music like a business. And I've never seen one application come across my desk and say, hey, you know, I'm trying to get some financing based off my royalties. I don't know if people don't think about it, or maybe the labels hooked them up with financing, but I mean, it's the same thing. Mm-hmm. You can buy a catalog from Royalty Exchange, which they should come with 12-month statements, and you can go get you some financing, royalty financing. So it's all types of things, and that's why I love what you do. Just giving people the information. A lot, you don't know what you don't know, so that's why we had to have you on. So,
well, thank you so much. I am always inspired when I meet artists who will book with me one-on-one, or they come to the conference and things like that. and they show up so prepared, and I am for it.
Oh, yeah.
They don't come into the space. And I think part of it is strategically how I intentionally brand, Music Meets the Boardroom is like, hey, this is a space. You ready? Come on in. You got a sense of urgency. Come on in. And so I'm just inspired. They'll come with their spreadsheets, and they'll have plans written out. And I'm like, yes, let's go in. Let's talk about these details. Let's, break it all down. And more artists are getting hungry for more of like marketing strategy. Like, what does that look like? And really, in this digital world, if you have, a great product and you have a great marketing strategy and you're building out a solid brand, you can really sell anything, and I think a lot of people are starting to figure that out.
Oh yeah, yeah,
definitely. I really want to clip that part what Latoya just said and just flood the internet with it, because I don't know how many times I said this and people act like I'm just running my mouth. Once you build your brand and build an audience, you can sell them tube socks. It doesn't make a difference. They're yours now. Like, they want to see what you got going, new music coming out. They want to see how your day went, what you bought when you went to the grocery store. They don't care. They just want to see what you got going on. And once you build that type of brand and your fans come in, I mean, you can do whatever you want. And so that's a great thing.
Yeah, when they fall in love with you, anything you do is, you got them,
And see, I've been in sales, and one of the things they teach you in sales is that they know that you're a good salesman, but they fall in love with you first. They know that you're selling a product. They're like, look, I already know the product. I want to buy the product, but they're really buying you. So you come into there, they like, look, I love Latoya. She's amazing. Da, 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 da. I don't care what song she puts out, I'm buying it. Mm-hmm. So that's the whole thing. So
that is
Latoya
true.
1,000% correct.
That is true. And you know what you can kind of compare it to, and this is, I don't know if y'all remember this time, but before the internet, if you wanted to learn more about a business, a product or service opportunity, there was always like flyers up and stuff, right? And then you would carve out a couple of hours and you say, well, I'm going to go down there and hear Bob with his spiel about whatever service and see if I want it. It's the same thing, but it's just on the internet now. So you gotta, people gotta, like you said, gotta fall in love with you, how you make them feel, building that relationship. And then once, that trust is built, then they're open to saying, hey, I'm going to invest more time and money and energy into this person because they have something I want or something I need or want to be connected to. It's the exact same thing. It's just on the internet now.
Yeah. Definitely. True. Mm-hmm. And another thing too, like, just to touch back on kind of like what we were just talking about too, is like a lot of artists don't understand that they are the record label. You know what I'm saying? And that's what these record labels do, just like how banks do. They take your asset and invest in other things, build their brand up, do all this other stuff. And you can do the same thing. I bought a few catalogs. I learned that from watching Michael Jackson. When I found out he had bought the Beatles catalog, and then gave Little Richard his some of his masters back, and I was like, man, how the heck did he do that? And then once I did that and found out about royalty exchange, I've just been investing. And the good thing about that is this music outlives us all. So that's something, and it comes transferable as well too. If you guys haven't ever dealt with royalty exchange or bought any catalogs of music or whatever, it's transferable. So it can go down to your kids, and it's like we always teach about generational wealth. So this is a way to build up that bank and, and keep it going throughout the family.
Mm-hmm. Of course, as we know, music has changed in terms of how we can make money with music. Now it's more of music, making money around music. Mm-hmm. And a friend of mine described music today in a very interesting way and simplified it, and it worked great. And he said, your music is your business card. It's your business card. Now, after you've shared your business card, what happens next? What action do you want them to take? And so I try to encourage artists to not just focus on the music and say, hey, you know, this is your business card to get into the door. What is your long-term intention? What do you want out of this? And then once someone experiences you and your music, what action do you want them to take? And also something I didn't know, as you're speaking of Michael Jackson, I didn't know that he purchased Eminem's catalog. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I just learned that recently. I was like, what?
Yep, he sure did. Yep,
No,
he got his catalog, and I confirmed it too through because so I kind of confirmed it through them, and it was like, yeah, you know, and it wasn't bought directly. It was bought through the group sale of Sony when he bought 50% of Sony. So yeah.
I was like, no wonder everybody was after him. He just was buying up everything, you know.
Yeah.
And speaking of, you know, I'm very protective of artists, and I'm constantly like, hey, you've got this gift, because music is a gift. It really is. And as they're building and growing, I always suggest the importance of protecting their gift and what that looks like. And I think of Anita Baker, and when she just recently won her master's after she's been fighting for several years for that. And I didn't know that I don't know if I just didn't think about it, but, you know, knowing that she didn't own it for 35 plus years, I mean, that broke my heart, and I'm so glad that she won it, because her kids are the ones who deserve to reap the rewards of that legacy, you know, and not anyone else. And so I made a video on TikTok, and I was like, hey guys, tag her in this. Y'all go over there on Twitter and tell her Latoya said, go and put that in your trust. So, you know, anything happened, ain't nobody else coming for it but your kids.
Yeah. For real. Yeah. And that, I'm glad you brought that up too. A lot of people don't know about that trust, have that family trust, and protect your assets.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And it's not too far-fetched from you and I. And a lot of people think that it is, but it's not. You know, it's as simple as setting up a will, you know, which may cost you a couple $100s or what have you. And you can do that. And a lot of people think it's just the trust fund babies, you know, but we can do that. We can leave that for our kids and our family, and protect those assets that we have invested in and that we own, so that when we're gone, the right people that we want to have it can have it.
Latoya, you literally sound like the unofficial third member of Music Legacy Builders right now. I'm telling you, you're just a breath of fresh air right now. I've been telling guys who I know who flip land, I was like, look, protect your assets, get you an anonymous land trust, especially for y'all land flippers. Oh, you can get you an anonymous land trust and definitely be ultra triple protected. And goes in one ear, go out the other, whatever. But then Latoya come over here reaffirming what me and Courtney always talk about: protecting your assets.
Protecting those assets. Yeah, protecting it. Especially, you know, in our community, I think it's important because, you know, I don't know if you heard, but they say, like, you know, the Black community will have a net worth of like 0% in the next 50 years or something like that. And before they talked about that on the news, I used to work for the federal government for like 10 years, and we'll go to DC and different things like that. And I remember being in the room. I do not know who this representative was, but I was not happy with him. But I just ignored, you know, you just got to close your ears sometimes. And he was in there talking about how, you know, Black people are not going to have a net worth of 0%. For whatever reason, I don't know why he felt like he needed to share that with the room. It was just like a random share. And it stuck with me. And then when I heard it on the news, he said that they said the exact same thing. I don't know. No one has disclosed how they came up with that number. But I feel like I'm very passionate about helping to prove that wrong, you know? And so whether someone is in music or not, I'm sharing the same conversations that both of you are having, and sharing as much as I can as I learn as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is the biggest transfer of wealth ever. So this is an opportunity for us because me and Courtney, we have the musicpreneurs class, which we teach the younger generation the music business, you know, the people 18 and below. And I remember one girl was like, I want to do music, but I want to do real estate. And I said, who told you couldn't do real estate? And see, that's the problem. We think that, okay, we doing music. See, here's the thing. I'm gonna throw this out. And I said this before, but I'm gonna say it again. For some reason, me and Courtney, we share stories all the time of where we came from up until now. We feel like every artist or whatever has to go through some sort of just struggle situation, sleeping in your car, eating. But no. Did I go through that? Yes, but you don't have to go through that. So it doesn't have to be a struggle situation. We don't have to, everything don't got to be a struggle. We're giving you the information. I tell people all the time, I was like, look, do you work? Yes, I work. Okay. Take that work money, get your real estate company started. Use that money to fund your music. Mm-hmm. Like, don't take all this regular money and just start throwing it away. Don't, for some reason, we just like, if I do this, I ain't gonna be able to focus on music. No, you're not gonna be able to afford the music if you don't do this. You need to be able to be in position to do that. And I don't tell anybody to shy away. Now, I'm not telling you to go out and do 40,000 different things and get everything all convoluted, and then you can't be focused on the task at hand. But you brought something up earlier, Latoya. You said, okay, you want to do music, but what's your end goal? See, when you start asking questions and start getting beneath the surface, then people have to start like, you know what? That's a good question. What is it do I want to do? When you said that, I was like, oh, that's a perfect, simple question, but that's a question I guarantee you the majority of people are not going to ask. And if you ask that question, now you can start mapping out a game plan. Because a lot of people tell you like, look, I just want to do music because I see rappers making a bunch of money. I feel like I want to make some of that money too. Okay, well, let's start there. So you want to get some money. And so you start getting to the nitty gritty of what people's intentions are, and figuring out how you can adjust what the plan is moving forward.
That is correct. I always say, work with the end in mind. I think there's like a famous book that talks about that. And when we are honest about that, is what you're saying as well, when we're clearly honest about that and we're able to see, okay, this is what I want, what's the path to actually doing that? And you're right. Sometimes people haven't thought through what they actually want. They just see what's happening. They know they want to be a part of that, but why and what do you want? Get clear about that. And then there is a little struggle there. It's like, whoa, like I never thought about that. Also, I think it's a great opportunity to ask those questions to help people see if what they're saying they want, they actually really want, and get real about that. And that's dealing with so many different perspectives. I meet people sometimes who say, I just want to be famous. And when I hear people say that, it opens up a whole world of questions I got. Yep. It's some layers there, and there's nothing wrong with being famous. But my question is why? And then what are you going to do with that? What's your mission behind that? What's your movement behind that? And then also, I just want to be famous. And I say, well, be famous for what? Milking cows? Like, what do you got to be really clear about what you want, because the universe might bring it to you and it might not look the way that you think it's going to look, but you still going to be famous.
For real.
That's right.
That's facts. That's facts. And then speaking of kind of like that, what drives you, and what got you through like some of the rough patches, for some of those artists that's like, man, I'm confused. I don't know what I want to do. And they just kind of stuck. Like what drove you and what helped you get over those hurdles that you came across when you were as an artist?
I always ask them to go back and to look at more of like their superpowers, in their gift. Like, yes, you're talented, but sometimes it's bigger than the music, and to get clear about that. And I usually will give them a list of questions to go and answer and things like that, just so they can get clear about what they should be doing with their gift. Because for me, it's not just about being in music and being able to do music. I really am passionate about the artist finding peace in the music and finding peace in their journey, so that as they're growing and being successful, they are proud and they can sleep at night, and they're confident in the decisions that they're making, and have confidence in making smart decisions for themselves as they're moving forward, and being super unapologetic about that and what that looks like, so that they can be proud of their journey. Yeah.
That's what's up. That's dope. That's dope. And what systems and strategies have you found in business that's changed your life and career?
Okay, of course, working smarter than harder, and sometimes simpler forms and doing things in simpler ways are just more efficient and better. So one thing that I encourage artists to do is put together a one-page business plan and break things down in simple form like that. And I do that, I do that every year. And yes, I'm going to have to take a section of that one-page business plan and I'm going to have to elaborate on it, but I can elaborate on another document. It doesn't have to be this long, overwhelming piece of work, because the goal is to get it done and to actually be able to look at it and see what needs to be done. So that has helped me quite a bit, to stay on point, stay focused, and on mission, is being able to clearly see what's going on and not having to decipher between information, and then going out and doing it and just getting it done.
Yeah, right. Definitely.
Bringing artists to the boardroom. Quick question, Latoya. Bringing artists to the boardroom. Where did they come from?
Music Meets the Boardroom, because I just saw a breakdown between the craft and business, and so I said, how do I marry the two and bridge the two together? So Music Meets the Boardroom. And I started Music Meets the Boardroom with the goal of helping artists become confident in their business decisions. And I want artists to walk into a boardroom with executives, even if they have an attorney on one side and a manager on the other side. I still want them to drive the ship in terms of knowing what's going on with them, instead of just sitting back and just saying, okay, I'm just gonna go with what this person says. No, if you got a question, I want you to be able to speak up about it and say, hey, you know what? I hear both of you, but can you elaborate on that a little bit? Did we talk about that? I want them to be confident in that way, as they're walking in their journey.
Mm-hmm. And see, I like that, because that's why I said the bringing artists to the boardroom. And you talked about Music Meets the Boardroom, because that's what you're doing. You're bringing artists to the boardroom, because here's the thing, me and Courtney talks about this all the time. We get a lot of pushback. We get people fussing us out. When you come to these meetings in the boardroom with some of these people, that's why what you're doing is so important, because we teach people, like, look, this is how you read a contract. This is how you do this. This is how you do that. Not so you have to do it all the time, but you would know that somebody else is doing their job. And when you go in the boardroom, like you just said, you don't want to be sitting there like, okay, you don't know nothing. That's how you lose half of your publishing, all types of stuff, because you don't know what's going on. You're just sitting there, and then they give you a check to kind of distract you, like, oh, here you go. You get this $150,000, go get you something. That'll distract anybody who's trying to make it. So I love that.
And knowing your needs and knowing your business enough to know what you need to fulfill your business ventures. You know what I'm saying? Because like a lot of artists, some of them, it may be beneficial to do a partnership deal with a label. It all depends on the need of that business and what they're, like you said, the business plan. What's the end goal of the situation? Or you could just get your own business credit, do your thing, or so you don't have to pay so much money back. Because I forgot, it was one artist that he mastered that mug. I can't even think of his name, but
Nipsey?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Nipsey Hussle? No, is that
Nip did too. Nip did too, but it was another one
that mastered what?
He mastered the art of using the record label's money, and he didn't have to pay nothing back. You know what I'm saying? Because he went and did all the albums that he was supposed to do, and then he took the money, reinvested it, and then
Frank Ocean.
There it is. Him. Yep. Yeah. Frank Ocean. Yep. He killed it.
Frank Ocean. He He did his thing on that one. I think
Yeah.
what he did was he did the albums and got the money from somewhere else. I think he got the money from Sony.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time he got the albums done for the label, he didn't have to pay anything. It was crazy. Like he did some.
Yeah, he did it all in 2 years.
He thought this out fully. This wasn't no accident. He thought this out.
Right.
So yeah, Frank Ocean. Look that up. I remember that.
Yeah, I'm gonna do some more research on that and see if what his whole strategy was behind that, because that's smart, to have a plan. I say the same thing for artists. This is kind of slightly, you're gonna be like, what? But this came to mind when artists want to go on television shows, like singing reality shows. And I always tell them, like, have a plan. Like, don't just go on there with the intent of just, them benefiting from that. You need to benefit from it too. And before you even go on that show, you need to have a plan on how you're going to maneuver once you get off the show and how you're going to benefit from it, So it's kind of like the same kind of mindset there. But I want to piggyback on what you were saying about artists knowing the different sectors of the business so they know who to hire for different jobs. And you're absolutely correct. It's not about overwhelming your mind because you need to do all these things. It's about knowing enough about your business so that you know who you're hiring. And this is the crazy thing about it. As I mentioned, I used to work for CEOs and executives for many years. And I was in the room, and so I would see how they would maneuver, and that's what they would do. So how they would run these companies, these big companies, is they wouldn't know everything that's going on, but they would know enough about every section or department to be able to have a intellectual conversation about it and to know what type of questions to ask if there's holes. And so it's the same thing. We're running a business. We are the CEO of our ship. And so we should know what's going on across our industry, across our own enterprise. Mm-hmm.
Definitely. And that's so dope that you're doing that. I just started writing about this the other day about my journey through helping my artists and planning out through the reality show, because she was on The Voice season 16. And then I was like, man, this is a whole, it's a whole monster. And you had, I was like, look, we're going to benefit off of all of this. You know what I'm saying? So we had a plan going in there, and the strategy worked so great. We went in there strategizing and hoping that Kelly would turn around and then John would do it, but we were gonna go with Kelly for the vocal things, and then end up with John Legend's team, and it actually happened. It was like we wrote out the whole situation, and now we have some opportunities come up that I can't speak on right now, but yeah, it's some opportunities came up about it. Fan follows got increased a lot. Then we got a lot of publicity, but at the same time we had to take it and start and rebrand back again, because the show uses your full name. They don't let you use your artist name. So well, at least The Voice don't. So then you had to start doing the rebranding. So we had that strategy going and finally getting that back on track. So it's a whole beast. It's not just going on TV and you just gonna blow up. Because I see a lot of artists that be on American Idol and different things like that, and you never hear nothing else about them.
They don't have a plan. They go on the show thinking that the show is just going to do all the work for them. And then they leave and they're like, what's going on? Like, they don't know, because they didn't plan. And by the time the show is over, it's kind of too late, because you don't have enough time to catch up to how fast things are moving. And so by the time you figure it out, everyone's gone and they're paying attention to somebody else.
Yeah. I have a quick question, Latoya. So Music Meets the Boardroom. First of all, that concept is amazing. And I'm just throwing it out here because I was just thinking about it. Are you guys, and I probably shouldn't be asking this, but are you guys planning on doing maybe a show or something dealing with that as well?
Like a showcase or something?
Yeah.
For the artists?
Yeah.
I thought about that very briefly, but I haven't really entertained it. I do see the future for the conference. The conference that we host is called Indie Artist Power Conference, and it's presented by Music Meets the Boardroom. I do see that conference becoming a respected industry staple. I do see that happening. It's already, people are, in the space or trying to get into the space, and, they're well connected in the industry. And maybe that's something that happens in the future. I know CD Baby offers something similar like that, where they'll have the speakers and they'll have coaching, and then they'll have moments for like showcasing and stuff like that. But we haven't gotten that far as of yet. And I'm hoping after COVID, we'll be able to move the space back in person.
Have you? Yeah, because I didn't want to say it, and you was thinking about it like, oh, I don't. Now it's out the bag, and you didn't. You wanted to save it for later on.
No,
so I was like...
I do pay attention to the universe when the universe is working through you, but it briefly crossed my mind, and I thought it would be nice to kind of like showcase artists and stuff like that, but I kind of didn't explore it much after that. But maybe a couple of years down the line, when it really grows and if there's space for it, I would definitely do that for sure.
Because it sounds like it, and I'm just running my mouth right now. It sounds like it could be a show, an actual like television show. Mm-hmm. Music Meets the Boardroom, like something to where artists can showcase themselves on a bigger level. I'm not saying it has to be American Idol or Voice-ish, but it can be its own thing. Like you come out and showcase your stuff, Music Meets the Boardroom, and the boardroom is whoever the people. I don't know. My mind is always.
I never thought that. That's good. Thank God I trademarked it. So if somebody come along with like, that was the first thing I did. When I tell you, I don't be playing. I'm like, you know what? Real. Yeah, I was like, I have a vision here, and I want to protect it, and I'm glad that I have, because I'm already seeing, people, really wanting to get into the space, and I think, because I have such a soft heart for artists, I believe in protecting the space as much as possible. It's my business, but as well as for them as well. So I do screen people quite a bit. But yeah, I definitely see lots of things happening, coming for sure.
Maybe you can have Ron D as a judge. Maybe not. I'm just throwing it out there.
It's possible. It is possible.
I didn't say you had to, but if you did, it's up to you now. But yeah, I think that's how my mind works. I just think about stuff like that. And then while we're on that subject, please talk about the importance of trademarking, where everybody fussed me out about this.
Yes. Thank you for opening up that conversation, because I am all about that trademarking. I am all about, I just had a video on TikTok go viral. It has like 200,000 views, and I was talking about all this stuff. And one of the biggest response that I got on there was, it costs too much for me to do that. And I say, well, no, it costs you too much to rebrand. That's what's going to cost you a lot of money, But yeah, so trademarking, I often recommend artists to trademark if they have a stage name that they know they're going to be committed to 10 years plus. Go ahead and trademark that stage name, because even though you may be a growing brand, people are still watching you. Yes. And you are the perfect target if you have a great idea, a great brand or concept, because oftentimes people assume that you don't know anything about protecting what you're creating and putting out there to the world. So they just go take it. And many of these people know the process. So they'll go out to that trademark website. They'll look up and say, oh, this person ain't done nothing. I'm just going to grab it. And what are you going to do? Most people are not going to do anything but go on to a YouTube gossip channel and talk about how so-and-so stole their stuff, but they don't do nothing. They don't do nothing for you. Yeah, exactly. So they need to make sure they trademark their stage name, logos, any signature sounds. Like, let me just give you an example. Like Cardi B, she has that, sound, and Megan Thee Stallion has a unique sound. When they do those sounds, you know who they are, right? Those are considered signature sounds. So if you're an artist and you have a signature sound that's very distinctive to you, you can trademark that sound.
What is the Cardi B sound? If you don't,
do I gotta do it?
I try to persuade you to do it.
I'm so like this little conservative lady about to be over here. She does it. Then she do like she does something. One of them do something like that. You know what I'm talking about? That's so embarrassing.
I just try to persuade you to do it. I was just messing with you. I knew what it was. I just wanted you to do it.
I can never remember her name, but she's on Instagram. Something. You know what I'm talking about? She has like 3 million, 5 million followers. And she says, baby
Uh,
girl.
oh, baby, yeah. That's my girl, B Simone.
B
Yep.
Simone, she always say, baby girl. And every time I hear her say that, I always think trademark, trademark. Every time she says, and I asked somebody, did she have the trademark? And somebody said no, but I haven't looked it up. And you and I can go look it up right now and verify it. But that's something that she would trademark, and I'm sure she probably does.
Yeah. Miss Skittles be on it. She got it in. It's in there. It's in the works. Yeah.
Yeah, see, because you be talking to B Simone and stuff, right?
Yeah, her management of Skittles.
Right.
Yeah.
She down, they all down here in Atlanta.
Yeah, they had an interview on the Breakfast Club. Well, no, it wasn't a Breakfast Club. It was I can't remember, but it was Birdman, and they was asking what is one of your biggest regrets, and he said that he didn't trademark bling bling when bling bling came out. And there was a video, and I still can't find this video to this day, to where a guy actually went back from the first when bling bling came out and started trying to do some research over a period of time. And they said if he would have trademarked it, he probably would have been in the 8-figure mark. Because you got to remember that time, everybody was saying bling bling. Everybody.
Right.
So it was just, he said that's one of his biggest regrets out of anything, not trademarking that. They didn't know it was going to be, it was just a song. They were just singing something. So it goes back to what Latoya's saying, the importance of trademarking. I don't want to hear you don't got no money. Okay, if you don't got no money, that's fine. I better not see you with a pair of new Jordans on. I better not see it.
That's
I'll
right.
Tell you
that. The price of those shoes is, if you sit down and do the research, is about the price of a trademark if you do it yourself. And that's another thing. A lot of people don't know you have options of what that looks like. You can hire a trademark attorney, which I highly recommend if you know nothing about it and you're not comfortable about it. Don't, because you want it done right. But if you can figure it out on your own, that's an option too. And a lot of people do. So it's just a matter of actually doing the research and being willing to do the work and figure it out. And even if you do hire a trademark attorney to do it, you still want to do the research to make sure you hired the best person to do the job and that they do it correctly. And there's a few things you can do prior to, working with the attorney to get that done. That's going to make that process so much easier for you. So do the research.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's what happened to me. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna see if I can do this myself. I got to about 2 hours into it. I was like, nope. Hire expert to do this bad boy, because it's just tricky wording and stuff. And you just want to make sure you don't mess yourself up. And I just studied it enough to know how important it was, and like you said, to know what you're hiring that person to do, so they do it right, and it is not taking your money and just getting over on you.
Right, exactly. The only reason it wasn't difficult for me to figure out is because I worked for the government for 10 years. So I understand government language very easy. And so, yes, it's a bunch of unnecessary words, but because I sat there and read that stuff for so long, I'm like, oh, okay, I know what they're saying. Click here, click there. So, but to someone who doesn't understand that space, it's going to just be like, what the heck is this?
Yeah, definitely. And this one thing that I'm learning too about trademarking is like when you trademark, you still got the other parts of the world that you got to trademark too. Within that, I was just thinking, like, at first, I trademark in the US, I'm good. But no, you still got UK over there. You still got Japan. You still got China and all of them. So like, it's different trademarks. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just now learning about that part, but I let them deal with all of that. I'm an expert at hiring experts. I'm staying in my lane. You know what I'm saying? But it's just something just to throw out there that I just found out about. So I thought I was covered over here and over there, but I wasn't. So.
Even for our I don't know if you knew about, we had a class, Latoya, me and Courtney. It was a music and profits class. We had a 6 weeks class, and each week was a different thing. Went over contracts, went over music licensing, went over a bunch of different stuff. You really think me and C about to talk every week and does them listen to us? No. Every week we brought an expert in. One of the number one contracts, like the CEO, we brought him in. We brought the CEOs of Royalty Exchange, brought them in. We brought the experts in. We brought in Brandon Shopme for marketing and videography and content creation. We're not that. Knowing how to do things is one thing, but bringing in other people who know it, like you talked about bringing in an attorney, spend a couple extra dollars to make sure it's done right. Because if you don't and it's not done right, you're going to be spending double trying to backtrack everything. And no, that's just not. But me and Courtney was like, look, if we're going to teach something, I'm not about to be talking about contracts, talking about brand. Let's bring the people who specialize in that to do that. That's why I go to the barber. I'm going to find a barber. I'm going to find somebody who does it every day. Let me find that guy to chop me up. So
I totally agree with you on that. With sometimes you have to let experts do certain things, you know, and I think it goes back to the conversation of being the CEO of your entity. You know, you can't do everything. You've got to hire people to help you be successful. And that's really the only way you can really level up, you know, and you want everything to be of excellence. So create space for experts to come in and be okay with spending the money to hire them. You know, it's an investment.
Yeah.
Latoya, quick question. So I'm sorry, C, were you gonna say something?
No. Go ahead.
So if an artist, you know, they be like, look, Latoya, I'm looking at a Music Meets the Boardroom, looking to try to reach out to you guys. I don't have nothing prepared. What would you tell those artists who's just brand new? I know I like music. I know I want to do it. What would they need to do before they come to you all, or would they need to schedule a consult with you all first to come up with a game plan?
That's a great question because I'm going to be completely honest with you in this regard. I intentionally branded Music Meets the Boardroom to attract artists who are in action and have a sense of urgency.
Right.
So, because I think that there are artists who are in different mind spaces or headspace, right? And so, I know that there are artists that just need time to figure it out. That's one thing. And then, you know, there may be some artists who just want it to be a hobby. And then also, you know, say one thing, but actually you're thinking or feeling another. And it's very rare that I get artists that are not serious about their craft, because I think I probably convey like, hey, don't come over here unless you really ready to do something.
Yes.
So yeah, I really don't have that issue or anything like that.
Gotcha.
I do have artists that will come to me and they haven't released music yet, but they have a plan, or they're trying to work through that. So they are in action in some form or fashion.
Gotcha. Because we get listeners and viewers who come from different backgrounds. I just wanted them to know, like, well, you know, I don't know a lot. You know, could I come through? Because a lot of they'll ask us them questions like, is it okay if we come? I don't know anything yet, but this is something I really wanted to do. I just wanted to.
Yeah. For the
What you guys
conference, I
see? I
think
know
it
I
would be
interrupt you.
fun.
My bad.
Oh, you're
Oh
fine.
no.
Go ahead.
Oh no, you good. You good.
I was just gonna say, for the conference, we you know, we have a few people who come in and, you know, they ask questions and they're kind of sitting in the room just kind of getting some information and what have you. And every artist is welcome, you know. However, it is a space of action, you know. So I will, you know, task the artist to complete something. And in past conferences or workshops, what I would do is we would talk about a subject, and in that workshop and in that conference, I would have them open up their laptops and execute. Like, you know, whether it's how to properly draft something or research something particular, or you know, filling out elements of their business plan or what have you. So um yeah, any artist who's not serious, they ain't gonna like it. They ain't gonna like it.
Exactly.
But the ones who are serious, they're like, yes, give me more. How do I do this? You know, yeah, I'm all for this. And I'm inspired when they reach back out and say, I did this, I got this, I got my business name trademarked. I've, you know, built out multiple streams of income around my brand, and you know, I love it.
Yeah,
Man, me and Courtney, we had homework every week. You're gonna do some work, homework, research, all types of stuff every week. You're not just about to go to class and just leave, because I don't want you to come at the end of class. I paid this money. No. You're gonna do the work. That way, at the end of the day, everything will be done. I found a project. We created a full song from scratch. I produced it. We had a full song done. We got everything squared away. Pretty much got it prepared to be released and all that good stuff. So, and we actually submitted it to BET and all that. So it's just like stuff like that. We try to give them opportunities and stuff like that. And that's, you're gonna do some work. because I don't want you to come back later on and say you didn't learn nothing because you the one that didn't put in the work. And like, it's similar to going to college. If you go to college, you get a degree is one thing, but while you're in college, you got to be putting in the work. Let me study after class for a little bit, make sure I know what I'm doing, such and such. So you just gonna go get the paperwork, and be like, they didn't teach me nothing. You didn't learn nothing because you didn't ask questions. You just show up to class half sleep, half drunk, and then you don't. It's just what it is.
Yeah, so, a lot of them get the knowledge and they just don't apply it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, if you just apply what you learn, it'll make a big difference.
And the testament of that is we had a free Facebook group before we even had the class, Latoya. And in that free Facebook group, somebody took we get free information every Monday for months. Mm-hmm. Every Monday, 2-hour long live streams on one subject. We wasn't all over the place. Like one subject could be metadata, the other subject could be networking, it'll be whatever. One guy took all the free information and doubled his percentages on all his music, double from the free information. So all he had to do was put in the work. He didn't have to pay for anything, and that's okay. We put out that free information for that, and he didn't pay for anything, but guess what? We use him as a testimonial. So it's just like we use him as a case study, and so you just gotta apply it, man. We give out free information all day long to the point to where people like pretty much be telling us like, look, you need to shut up. Because I'm charging these dudes $3,000-$4,000 and y'all giving out too much info. So it's that type deal. Because so I tell C, like I tell you, we give out a lot of good information for free. Here's the problem. 95% of people are gonna be like, as casually as we gave up the information, they assume that it's not good information. Because we just said, here you go. So they're like, nah, that can't be good. And yeah, it is. Because old buddy, he's chilling. He's like, yo, man, I just he was so excited. He screenshotted us the numbers. Yeah. Like, look at these numbers. Appreciate it.
Wow.
And I just found out he got a placement in Nickelodeon too. So yeah.
Oh wow.
We got another people in the group. They're a gospel couple. And I don't want to make this all about me and C because you're the guest, you're the superstar right here. We try to get
I am listening and I'm learning.
But we're making the point. So it's a couple in the group. Wife and husband, couple, they got a gospel group. They didn't take the class, but they scheduled a consultation with us. One consultation. They just got nominated twice for 2 gospel awards. They it was something else. So they got their video nominated. And I'm not talking about some local gospel, I'm talking about the Gospel Music Awards.
Yeah.
That thing.
And so these that they got over in Africa too. They got nominated over in Africa for the African Gospel Music Awards as well, here and there. One consultation. So what I'm saying is like all they did was apply it. They're no better than me, they're no better than C, they're no better than you. They just applied it. So when people come to Meet the Boardroom, Music Meets the Boardroom, I'm pretty sure y'all hitting them with like, look, this is what it's gonna be, but you got to go out and handle it. Yeah. Play it like us, all this little talking. After the talking is done, let's go ahead and do it. And that's why we implemented the homework situation because we didn't want people to say that they didn't get any information. You're gonna do some homework every week, and we brought in the experts. You can't say, well, it was just 6 weeks of just Courtney and Ron talking. Nope, we didn't even talk. We just introduced the people and shut up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Have y'all thought about? Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I met this gentleman. I was working in this hotel restaurant, and this guy, he just kind of randomly came up to me and started talking to me. He owned a company or whatever, and I was telling him what I did. And he mentioned like franchising. Have y'all thought about that at some point in the future?
Franchising the class?
Yes. So is it a conference? Is it a workshop? Is it a class?
So we got a bunch of stuff. We got the class, the 6 weeks class, 6 weeks live class. Mm-hmm. It was live. And so now we recorded all of it. So now it's pretty much like in a bundle course. And we have our first conference next year. I don't even know
January.
Am I supposed to be saying it right, LC?
Yeah. January the first conference.
I'm running my mouth. So January we have our first official conference to where because we spoke at other people's conferences a bunch of times. So it's just like, but our first official conference. But the franchise thing, that what's funny about you saying that, Latoya? I was talking to I do business consultation clients too, and it was a girl who did hair, and I mean, she's handling. And so I was like, she's like, I just don't know what I want to do. I was like, why don't you already got a process for your hair. You make good money. Why don't you franchise that? And I never thought about it for myself though, you know. See, we might have to talk behind the scenes about that.
Yeah.
That might be because we already got everything in place already. So even if it's like an affiliate type thing, we can do it. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, Latoya. We might have to break you off a little something.
Yeah. I was about to say, you know, the rev share coming.
That is my gift to you, because someone mentioned to me and I had never thought of it. And I was like, oh, this has the potential to actually be a franchise. Like, you know, they can do it in different states and things like that. I don't have to be present, you know, it's just the brand carrying itself. And it's a matter of just building it up in that aspect. And there's a whole new world of opportunity there.
That brand, music meets the, I'm gonna tell you something. You know, you hear stuff all the time, and I'm pretty sure you see a lot of stuff online and stuff, Latoya. Music Meets the Boardroom is like one of those things that when you hear it, it's like, yeah, that's gonna be something. Yeah. Like there's nothing that sounds like that. And it's just like, however you came up with the name, I was like, I love everything about that. That's why I was like, that sounds like it could be a show. Like a big show.
Yeah. When you said that, it started to kind of come together. And what I could see is like maybe an artist, coming up with a great song and then having to go into the boardroom and negotiate something. That would be hot. That would be hot.
So Latoya, I take checks. I take checks, money orders, food stamps. But yeah, man, like I said, you should think about that. Music, I mean, we had to rebrand ourselves because we was originally just Music and Profits. And I was like, you know what? I want something that'll stick a little bit better. So it was like, you know, we'll keep Music and Profits for podcasts and stuff. And we'll change it to Music Legacy Builders. And now we're going to do it that way. Because I don't want it to be like, I want people to know that, look, we're thinking about your legacy. We're thinking about your kids. We're thinking about your wife. We're thinking about your loved ones. You know, if something, you know, God forbid something happens to you. And we just want to make sure that you focus on the business portion of it.
I feel like
it's so many like legends right now that can't even get access to their parents' royalties because they don't have a will set out or they don't even have the death certificate, you know, to actually show proof that they're the child and can get the royalties. So it's like that's another reason like we came up with the Music Legacy Builders, because there's so many royalties out there that I've been getting for different legends, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, man, you think everybody has all their business in order, but it's a lot that really don't, you know, or they just didn't understand the business side of it. They just performed, showed up, and you know, turned their music in.
Yeah, for sure. I was gonna say something that it left my mind, but then something else came up, kind of piggybacking on what you're saying. Is you see the shows like Unsung, and you see the scenarios of like how one of the band members went and trademarked that owns the name, and the other members are mad because they can't perform the songs because they got to ask this person. But I find that intriguing. You know, I'm just like, no one thought to do that. You know, like to own that. You just letting it sit around. But I remember what I was gonna say. I feel like we're having like a brainstorming like business session right now, and I'm excited. Like I'm just like, yeah, let's talk about this. You know what's
like, you know what's funny, Latoya? Anytime we do the podcast and we're on with someone, they just assume it's going to be us asking questions. You're answering the back and forth. They're just like, anytime me and Courtney does this, it always ends up like this. Like if you go look at some of our past stuff with other people that we had Wendy Day on, we had Mike Matthews on, we had a bunch of people on. It always turns into a brainstorming session. And half the time it's because of me, because I run my mouth all the time. So I get it, and I'm sorry, I apologize for that. But it turns into that because like we didn't want it to be the typical just we up here, hey Latoya, what's your favorite color? What made you? They don't care about that. They want to know who you are, what made you do this and do that. The brand is freaking terrific. I love it. I'm in love with it already. And so I'm just ready to see where it's going to go from here. I had a question. I don't forgot that fast. It was about
this what goes on in the boardrooms though. You know what I'm saying? So like they getting it up front live and direct now. Well,
as far as the brand itself, is it just you or is it you and some other partners that you got in with this or?
I am the sole owner, And I do have a team that that works for me and
Okay.
helps me build out the brand. And I have PR and marketing and a business manager. And but yeah, I'm the sole owner, and I'm an Aries, so I just took the idea. You are, so you know where I'm going with this. You know, we take ideas and visions and we just go. We be tripping and falling and everything else, but we just go. We just go.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And learn along the way.
Yep.
Yeah, kind of build the airplane while you're flying it. So now that you say that, a lot of people come to me and you know, producers or artists or whatever, and they just like, look, I'm trying to do this, but I want to do this, but how important is it to just like, look, just go for it, man. Just go for it. If you fail, you fail. Do you go by that motto? Or you like, look, don't listen to what's wrong. You better not be out here failing. Wait and make a plan first. Now, you always want to take calculated risks. You want to make sure you plan for your life. You don't want to be, you know, like me, broke eating Wendy's dollar cheesy cheese. I tell the story all the time. Wendy's had a burger called a cheesy cheeseburger back in the day. And there was a limited, I think they sold that junk for like 6 months. It was $1. I was eating it every day. I'd be in the studio with all these different artists. I'm talking about big names. And then I'd go back to my apartment eating cheesy cheeseburgers. But I was in grind mode. You know what I mean? So I don't suggest nobody doing that. It's not fun. You lose a lot of weight for no reason because you're not eating like that. But what would be your advice to someone who's kind of scared to jump out there? Would you say, you know what, wait, make sure you plan everything? I was like, look, just jump out there and see what happens and then start planning along the way.
I agree that, you know, you have to take some level of calculated risk, and being an Aries, we like to take a lot of risk, you know, so I'm always like, let's do it. I start with, if someone's afraid, I always go back to the fact that other people are more afraid than you are. They're afraid of you. They're afraid, you know, just go do it, you know, because even though you may be afraid of doing something, everybody else is more terrified than you are. Half the time people terrified to talk to you. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So just go do it, you know, and do what you need to do. Now, if it's a more, you know, larger risk where you have, you know, family, or you're taking a bigger leap of jump, then of course, you know, build out some sort of plan or something like that, and then do what you know you should do. And here's my thing is that the universe is always working on our behalf, and it doesn't make sense to go through life doing something you know you shouldn't be doing because you're afraid of doing what you know you should be doing. And whenever we listen to our inner guide, it always is going to steer us the right way. Now, if things happen, you know, for example, let me give you an example. Like Tyler Perry always talks about how he lost everything and things like that, right? And this is how I see it, you know, and we can go back and forth on this if you want to. I see it as a way of clearing things out for something better, right? So it comes across as a big loss, but really it's the universe clearing out everything so you can be blessed with more. And that's exactly what happened to him. But socially, in society, it's viewed as a loss, a failure. And it's not. It's cleaning everything out that is not part of your next level life. And
I like that.
It's just a matter of embracing it, because like I said, the universe is always working on our behalf and in our best interests, always.
And see, I've always been a risk taker. That's why I was out there eating cheesy cheeseburgers. So I didn't mind failing or whatever. I'm just like, it is what it is. I think it was Eric Thomas. He said that if you're going to fail forward so you can see what went wrong. So it's like you're gonna fail no matter, you know, no matter what you do. Eventually, you're gonna do something that you don't like. Like, oh, that's just life. So I'm not. What I'm saying is, like, as far as that type of advice, I try not to give it. But if people ask me, look, just go out, just take a chance. So I just my personality. I've never been the type that be like, I don't like the what ifs. Like, damn, what if I'd have did? I don't like that. I will lose sleep if I'm like, you know, what if I would have, I went out there and felt, okay, well, at least I tried. I just wanted to see what would, that's just my personality. I can't sleep knowing what if. I'll take a risk, like, look, let's make this happen. But, you know, the majority of people are not going to be like that. And even if they try to jump out there, as long as they got a safety net, they'll never put in 100%. If you're an acrobat doing like circus flips, the little circus, what's the little circus thing? Y'all know what I'm talking about? Where they do the little flips on the little bars, they do the flips.
Oh yeah, with the rings and bar. Yeah.
Is that an acrobat? Usually, I think that's what they
acrobat.
Yeah. So usually they have nets underneath them. So I look at life like that. If you know there's net underneath you, like, well, I can afford to slip off. I just fall in the net. If that net ain't there, you're gonna put 100% into the action that you're doing. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't like plan Bs, because if I know I got a plan B, I'm like, yeah, forget plan A. You're not gonna put all your effort in plan A. And so that's how I look at it. I'm gonna just see what happens. I'm gonna just see what happens. And did it work? I failed a lot more times than I succeeded, but I equated to playing the lotto. If you play the lottery for 3 years straight and lose, okay. But all you gotta do is win one. If you hit that Powerball one time, it's a wrap. So all those 3 years is irrelevant at that point.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how I look at it. Now let me reiterate this, because people gonna be out there wrong. Would you telling me to just go out there? No. What I'm saying is, if you got an opportunity, take the opportunity. I'm not telling you to just quit your job, but just use your job to fund what you got going on.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid to take a risk like that, a calculated risk. Y'all want to do music and do real estate, take your job. Let me tell you something. And I teach my artists this. I always say, look, if you got a job, take your job money, and you got a business, use that to fund your business, and use the business money to fund your music. Because you want something, you need, take your job money, start your business, because you're going to need time. That business, even though it's a lot of work, you can control what happens in that business. And that job, you got to tell them, like, boss, I need to take off next week. You got to be telling too many people. I don't like being told what to do. So that's not for me. I've been in corporate America. I can't stand it, Ron. You came back on lunch break kind of late, didn't you? I'm just like, look, I don't really care.
I go home. I'm good. I'm good.
You and Latoya, you know what I'm talking about. You've been into like, come on now.
I grew out of it. I worked for somebody for many years, and I got to the point where I was like, I can't do this no more. I'm done.
Right.
It's a wrap.
Mm-hmm.
Not doing this no more.
And it's a blessing to be able to work and be able to have the money to, do other stuff. But I literally, like, I worked in IT, and I was in the military, and I worked when I worked as IT analyst for, I don't want to say the company, but I was doing IT work for the CEOs and VPs too. So I would go in their office, fix their computers, talk to them. And these offices, I don't even, that's a whole nother conversation. These VPs,
What branch?
Navy.
The Navy. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I worked with some Navy people.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, like, these VPs offices, man, when I started, like, I've always had that entrepreneurial, just spirit in me. And so when I would go in some of these, and Latoya, you work with CEOs, these offices look like little apartments. Like, when you walk in there, you don't have to leave, like, because, like, I would walk into these offices. It's almost like when I shut the door, everything else on the other side, you couldn't hear it. That's how different it was. They own bathroom in there, everything was crazy. But what I'm saying is, like, when it comes to what I'm saying is, I've seen that portion of, like, the 9 to 5 grind or whatever. And would I go back and do it in a heartbeat if I had to do it? Absolutely. And me and C talk about it all the time. Ain't no shame in working. But I'm talking about, for me, like, I remember one time, and I tell this story all the time. That's why I enjoy working for myself, even though I have to work hard. And a lot of people think, well, you work for yourself, you should be good. You're the last one to get paid. You're the last one.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's not you. And you got to work the hardest. You got to stay up the longest. You have to get up the earliest, and you have to stay up the latest. So what I'm saying is, like, when I went to one of my jobs, my son, he has epilepsy. So he had seizures and stuff sometimes. My son had a seizure, had to go to the hospital. And I called my job. I was like, yo, my son is in the hospital. I'm going to stay the night with him, make sure he's okay. The next day, he was like, yeah, that night, they was like, yeah, man, we're praying for your son. Hope he gets better. Cool. The next day, I was like, yeah, we got to go to his primary doctor to, check up on him, see if we need to change his medicine, make sure he's good. Now, my son just had a seizure. I'm going to repeat that. His response was, yeah, just let me know, because I drove 3 hours for this training. So I was like, wait, what? Did you just say to me? And my son just had it. Oh, let me tell you something. Right then, I was like, yeah, this ain't gonna work.
It didn't take much, did it?
This ain't gonna work. You get me, okay, but you talking about my youngin' now. Like I don't care about your 3 hours. I don't care how long you were driving. I don't care about none of that, man. Seizures are not a game to be playing with. Like, that affects your brain. Like, that'll take you up out of it. So I knew right then, I was like, no. But back to what I was gonna say originally. I used to be at work running my part-time business from work, because I did IT work, so I had a lot of freedom. So if nothing wasn't broke, I would literally be in the server room making cold calls from the server. So somebody walk in.
I did the same thing. I did the same thing. I would do just enough work. Okay, I got that outfit. Now let me go over here.
Yep.
Okay, confirm this.
Latoya, I'm calling your ex-boss and I'm snitching. I'm telling them now. Like, look, Latoya, when you thought she wasn't doing it, she was back. No.
I had no shame. I was straight. I was ready. I already knew. They were just waiting for me to get my notice. I was
So yeah, that's the same with me. They was like, man, why don't you just quit? No, I'm just trying to do whatever, I was like working like a mug. I was like, well, shoot, y'all gonna have to fire me. You know what I'm saying? But that's real. But I did have to go. I did have to go back like 3 times though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So did I.
I just think, I just didn't get it right. The first time was I had the wrong intentions. It was just to be like, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing my thing or whatever. And the second time it was like I had the mindset of like, okay, I'm gonna treat this, like how I want my business to be ran. You know what I'm saying? And then I quit. But I just didn't have everything planned out like how I did. I didn't have an exit plan. So the third time I had an exit plan, and I actually still get paid from that job, but it's through music now though. So like before I quit, I made sure I found out who that marketing team that ran all of their ads and everything, and I could partner with them through my publishing company, and we just created music and still going to this day for all their commercials. So it's like I'm getting their bigger budget now instead of the payroll budget.
That made me think of a question.
So you use your job just like they're using you.
Yep. So Latoya, see, touch on something. I wanted you to see what your opinion of it was. Talk to the people about how important networking and building relationships is when it just comes to this industry. Well, pretty much anything, but this industry in particular. How big is it to build a relationship with people? Building those relationships. How important is that to you?
It is very important, of course. I had someone ask me this question not too long ago. They had set up a meeting or something with me, and it was like, I really want to network more. And really, it is as simple as putting yourself out there and not making it difficult. I used to put little notes on my calendar, network for an hour this day or whatever, and I wouldn't do it for whatever reason, because it felt like work. And then when I just started just showing up, like putting myself out there, posting, connecting, then I didn't have to chase. I attracted. I attracted what I wanted because I put out
like that.
What I wanted. And as a result, what I wanted and what I needed came and found me. So that's what I share with artists now who are just like overwhelmed by the work of networking. I'm like, don't look at it as work. Just show up and show up fully. And what you need will find you. It will find you.
It's funny because first of all, everything you said, beautifully put. That's exactly what I'm talking about. It's like two things. The first thing is I always tell people, a lot of people say, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. I agree, but I also think it's about who you know and about who knows you. You might know this person, but when you walk in a room, like for an example, I had an opportunity came up years ago. I'm not gonna say what or who's in the room, but there was a lot of people that pretty sure both of you know. It wasn't the fact that I knew those people in the room. When I walked in, one of the guys was like, "What's up, Ron D?" That made a big difference because when somebody call your name, they'd be like, "Okay, who's this dude?" You know, because somebody knows him in here. So it's about who knows you. And somebody else, the second thing I want to say, somebody told me something a while back and it stuck with me to this day, and C knows who I'm talking about. I was like, yeah, man, you know, time is money. He was like, no, it ain't. Relationships is money. He said, time is time. He said, relationships are money. The more relationships, the more resources you have. Put it like this. The more relationships and resources you have, I can make phone calls right now that a lot of people can't make. I'm like, you know what I need? So let me call this person who has a free studio that I can use that'll let me use it because I've been building this relationship for over 10 years. Stuff like that. I know this dude who, let me make this phone call because this guy does stuff for Disney, and we can get that conversation started so we can talk to someone about this Disney project. So having those relationships to where you pick up a phone and make that phone call is very, very important, those relationships. When he told me that, I was like, ugh, yeah, I hate that you're right, but you're right. You know, and you brought up a good point, building those relationships, showing up, not being afraid to, and see, that's the biggest, okay, this is kind of what I want you to touch on now, because when people build relationships, a lot of people are afraid. They're like, look, I don't want to be just talking to people and I'm nervous. What would you say to that?
Well, before I answer that question, I want to piggyback on what you were just saying is
okay.
COVID really has leveled the playing field in many areas. So many people that once before was not accessible are extremely accessible now.
Oh, that's right.
And many people just sit thinking, oh, I can't reach out to this person or I can't contact this. Oh, yes, you can. And you will be so surprised because some things have changed. So yes. But fear with speaking with people, and I think you've opened up another door there. I think also learning how to speak with people who you want to build high level relationships with. I think there's an art to that as well. And I think that it's important to learn that. And I hope more people would teach it. I grew up in pageantry, and they would train us to be able to walk into interview rooms, and we would have to win over the interview boards, right? And they would teach us these different strategies on how to do that. And when I got into the corporate space, I would use those same strategies in the boardroom. And I teach artists some of those things too, but I wish there was more conversation around that, because the assumption is that, you know, the three of us, we may know how to go into a certain space and carry ourselves and close a deal, but other people may not know how to do that, you know, even though it comes natural to us or what have you. So I think that needs to happen as well. But as you were saying, you know, reaching out to people and being confident to communicate with them and knowing that they want to hear from you and they're looking for probably some opportunity or to fill some holes where they need to fill some things. Because, like, for example, a lot of these people, they're under stress and stuff. They got to cast these people. They got to close this stuff, you know, and if you walk into the room and you're exactly what they're looking for, then you've just made their day. So there's no reason to be, afraid or anything like that, you know, but don't spam them with your music links or anything like that. That's a whole nother conversation.
Thank you. That's a whole, let me tell you something. C knows I done had whole live streams fussing people out for 30 minutes for doing that. 30 minutes straight just fussing. I'm just like, crazy. Y'all need to stop doing that crap. You're doing the same thing and just boom, boom.
Yeah.
I had people on Instagram spam me. I didn't respond. And then they, you know, the little video portion, they would call me on it. They would literally try to like call me on the little Instagram video thing multiple times back to back. Just like, I got a nice little place for you. Sell block 4. Block. So it's just like, it's all about presentation. And you brought up a good point. We might think it's natural, and we might need to bring that subject up again as far as creating something. They got things out there, but we need some tangible things where people can have some interaction and really start practicing, because it makes a big difference. Not just face-to-face etiquette, but email etiquette. A lot of people don't have email etiquette. They just sending crap, just like you said, spamming. You need to have email etiquette. All your emails need to be professional. I know because my business, I deal in finance.
Why
if I send some crap to them, they say
just how you said it. That's all.
Yeah, if you send some crap to a finance deal where I had one a while back, me and my partner, and it was a $60 million development deal. Send some whack random email without a footer on it, without your name and your phone number, and your company logo and stuff on it. Like, who is this? No, block. So you just have to. It's not just talking, phone etiquette or face-to-face etiquette. You got to have email etiquette as well, and social media etiquette. Be professional. Be like, look, introduce yourself or whatever strategy you got. I got my own strategy for social media. And you brought up a good point, Latoya, and you're 100,000% correct. Right now is the best time to reach out to some of these people who you think not going to respond. Me and Courtney know this best. I'm not bringing up no names, but we reached out to a bunch of people, and some people have responded who I did not think was going to respond, and responded multiple times and asked for my number and all that. So it's just like, this is the time to do it.
Yep.
And I tell brothers, just in general, this is the perfect time to really do anything. Let me tell you something. And I didn't want to take it this far. I'm gonna just touch briefly because I don't want to throw this conversation off. This is the perfect time to pretty much do anything. This is the perfect time to get a skill because everybody's hiring, nobody's freaking working. They looking for people. I seen a sign the other day. Dairy Queen is up the street. Dairy Queen is paying people $16 an hour to make sundaes. $500 bonuses. What? Because nobody's working there.
Really?
Dairy Queen.
That's crazy.
You think I won't be out there making 2 scoops in hand? 16? Yes, I will be out there. $500 bonus. So stuff like that is what I'm saying for someone who's not working. I'm like, look, they giving the money away. There's some barbecue spot. They paying people $18 an hour to come cook barbecue. So just stuff like that, at least, or go to one of these places. These jobs, they're pretty much funding your education to work for them. Like, look, even though you don't have IT background, we'll pay for your education. This is the perfect time to gain a skill, is what I'm saying. So if you don't have the money, go take one of these opportunities, gain a skill, a high-paying skill, so you can have the money to fund your music or whatever you want to do. This is the time to do it. You can be reaching out, networking. It's easy. I'm gonna tell you something. This is if I were 16 now, there's no way I wouldn't have 2 jobs. I would be making boatloads of bread right now. Like when my first job, I was working at Golden Corral, making like $5 and change. Right now, these companies are paying you they're trying to get people in the door. Cookout had a $500 bonus. Cookout.
What?
Yeah.
Hey man, speaking of Cookout, I just went there for the first time last week, man. Last Sunday.
Got you a Cookout tray?
Yeah, man. I was like, okay, all right.
I totally
Y'all got Cookout in Oklahoma, Latoya?
I don't think so. Think so. But I totally agree with you. I was talking to my dad about this time, and I said, man, this is the time. If you're gonna do anything, this is the time to do it, because it's just most people during times like this, they'll lock down, and play it quote safe. But this is the time to take the risk right here. You can see it. You can see the opportunity, even though some people may think it's the opposite. No, this is it right here. If you want something, this is the time to go get it.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You better meet us in the boardroom, daggone it.
Better meet us in the boardroom, because we about to take this risk right now.
Exactly.
When I think about back, was it 2008 when they had the big financial crash or whatever? And when you look at a lot of the companies that are very successful right now, they birthed during that time.
Yes. It always take a big catastrophic event. Somebody's going to make some money coming out of this.
Yep.
And so that's just what it is. Look
in the Great Depression.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I was just about to say in the Great Depression that brought out the most millionaires. So it's like is this always millionaires and creation that goes on during crisis. So it's definitely the time.
This is just the perfect time just to, put it like this. If you don't have like the money to do whatever, this ain't the right time to say you ain't got no money, because everybody's hiring and everybody's paying way more than what they normally pay. Cookout is giving you a $500. I'm not gonna let up on that. I'm not letting up. Cookout. Have you ever been to Cookout, Latoya?
No, but you cracked me up.
Okay, so Cookout is like just a little small fast food chain. It's it's pretty much like working at McDonald's. It's just Cookout. But imagine McDonald's said we're going to pay people $500 to come work for us, and we're going to pay you $15 an hour. There's no way you should be sitting out here struggling. And then let's just say you say, look, I'm not trying to go work for somebody. With all these Ubering and Lyft and all these different little things that you can do. I know a dude right now. I know a dude right now that drives Uber and Lyft. He does $2,000 a week. I'm gonna repeat that because I don't. Maybe nobody hear me. $2,000 a week. Mm-hmm. So what I'm saying is like nobody's really trying to go anywhere. Nobody's really trying to do anything. Yeah. So the people that are doing anything, they're getting all the money because they like, well, these jobs they're giving you unlimited overtime. You can stay here all night. You want to, just getting all the money. So what I'm saying is the whole point of me saying that is that this is the time, like Latoya said, this is the time and the opportunity to really make some moves. I couldn't be 16 right now. Man, look, I couldn't be 16, 17 right now. I'll be getting all the money. All of it. I had a car that can get me to A to B. It's a wrap. I'm there all night.
Yeah.
I'm working double shifts. But what I'm saying is like we can apply this type of the skills and stuff that you learn. This is the perfect time to get a skill. Mm-hmm. Get you a high-paying job and fund your music. Or get you a skill to learn how to run your business. Like Latoya said, this is the perfect time to reach out to those people that want to do what you're doing and get the information and potentially work with them. Mm-hmm. Because people are responding on Instagram right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? This is to break it down a little bit further. This is the perfect time to take the job, to fund your music or fund whatever that business is, but hire the people to do it for you. To build it out for you while you at work. And you on that computer or whatever, making them calls or whatever, you say, hey, this is what I want. You go find the people who can build it out. You pay them to do it and set it up and get it going for you and make that money. Because most of the time, the people who will build out whatever that is can get it from A to Z. They know how to get it to work. And instead of trying to, put your head in the sand and figure out every step, don't do that. Hire somebody to do it and to make it successful for you while you're over here making your money on another spot.
I told you.
You can make that jump.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that too, because like that was my exit strategy. I was like, okay, all this bonus money, all of that stuff is going. You may think hiring people is going to take money away from you, but hiring people and putting them in the right seats, I'm telling you, it's so much value in that, because that's what saved me on my third time. So it was like, I was like, I ain't never going back to corporate America ever now. So, what I'm saying, just having that system set up and having all those people in the right seats is just a blessing. And like we were saying, use the job to, like they're using you for game. You know what I'm saying? Use them for the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And it's not really a complicated process once you really start to understand it. I think the hard part is figuring out the foundational elements and getting really clear about what it is you want to do, what you want this to look like, branding it out, understanding the mission behind it so you can effectively communicate what it is so people can join the movement or join whatever you're doing. I think that's the hard part. And then figuring out how to get the idea and the desired financial outcome into actually birthing. What does that look like? But like I said, you can hire somebody to do that part, and they can figure that out. An expert can figure that out because they've done it. They're doing it, and so it just takes a little bit of investment, a lot of investment, and that's okay, because it'll come back tenfold.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well,
I am so I'm excited. You know what? I have two conversations, and I need to take a note so I don't forget it. And I just want to just have this conversation with both of you. One, I was having this thought earlier. So I get frustrated with brands. When you brought up McDonald's or something, and I get frustrated with brands that are struggling right now, and they throw certain people they throw Black people on it. Have y'all noticed that?
Yeah.
Y'all can cut this out if y'all want to. Y'all ain't got to air this. But they say, okay, my brand is struggling, so let me go hire a Black person to be the face of this product or whatever, because they understand the influence, the strength of the influence of Black people to hopefully pull that business and brand out of whatever, but they don't put any effort in rebranding or going back and innovating the product. Like, I get frustrated, y'all can cut this out. I get frustrated when I see Megan Thee Stallion with Coach. Like, Coach is a completely dead brand. Like, they haven't done anything, but they put her in front of it in hopes that Black people and people who are influenced by Black people to go and buy it. And I get frustrated, irritates me. And then the whole like sweetie meal, like, I was frustrated because I was like, how are you gonna take a 30-year-old burger and put some fries on top with some ketchup or whatever, and put it in front of us and tell us to buy it? Like, I just get frustrated by that. And the reason I bring this up, because I think that this is a great opportunity for artists to learn what not to do. And so that's why I brought it up, just like a random share, because I was like, we can learn something about from this as business owners, as talented people and innovators and things like that, of, hey, there comes times where you have to pivot and you got to go back to the playing board, and you got to do the hard work of figuring out what does this look like in this next season, instead of throwing the same thing hoping that it floats if I just put a little patches on it or something. So, random share.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it a step. First of all, I get what you're saying. I'm gonna take it a step further. What you just said, like, the thing I didn't like about those situations, outside of what you named, is that now that they gave you the bag, like, who to say they don't influence you to do something that's detrimental to your brand or whatever. So I'm just like, well, we gave you the money, so now you got the. We gave you a little McDonald's meal, right, with some little cold, raggedy McDonald's burger with some fries on it that nobody's really going to buy like that. So the least you can do is I don't want to get to that conversation, but that's how I be thinking. I'd be like, look, they gave you the check. Okay, we gave you the meal, we gave you the check. Now let's get you on something else that might not be as positive. And I just want us to start creating our own brand. McDonald's, everybody know who you are. We good. We don't need no extra stuff from you. We got you, player. Like, let's start creating our own brand. You was talking about the Black thing. Start getting our own brand. Who Megan Thee Stallion or not? Nobody's wearing Coach like that. Coach ain't coming back. Calm down.
Coach is not coming back. And that's where I was going with it. I was like, you can throw as many Black celebrities on a brand as you want to. If people done, they done. Like, you just, and I find it insulting. Like, I find it insulting to the consumer. I find it insulting because but you brought up a great point. Like, I love to see, I love to see us getting opportunities we normally did not have in the past. But then at the same time, I'm just like it's kind of like a catch-22. It's like, it's great, I support you, but then at the same time, like, this product is not gonna work. Like, this don't make no sense, So I was thinking about this earlier, and I was just trying to figure out how to like dissect it. And then when you mentioned McDonald's, Ron, I was just like, okay, that popped right back in my head.
Right. Yeah. See, these are these are the conversations. Music Meets the Boardroom. These are the type of conversations right here. Yeah. And so,
it's real decisions that you got to make. Because you can end up hurting your brand trying to be the face of somebody else's brand. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And me and Courtney, we harp on creating your own brand so you can be the one creating the opportunities. Yeah. And so that's what we want. We want to put people in position to where they can create opportunity. That's why we give out all these free. And a lot of times people come to me, and this is what I get, like, the majority of the time, like, well, the people who I know got the information, I got to pay for it. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's
tough cookie daggone it. I mean, I don't see. Here's the problem. See, I don't want to get back on the fuss mode because, Latoya, I will start fussing about stuff. So I'm just letting you know that ahead of time. This is what I don't like. Like I told you, I don't mind that people say, look, people are charging. People are going to charge for information, for good information. You just got to deal with it, man. But here's my thing. If you're complaining about, first of all, with me and Courtney, I'll tell you right now, the price is the price. Daggone it. Yes. We don't do discounts. We don't do military discounts. And I'm a military man. We don't do none of that. The price is the price. The people who are serious are going to make a way. Because here's the thing. Because what I start doing is I start looking at you. Let me see what type of shoes you got on. Let me see what type of phone you got. How much of that? That's that Louis V shirt. Oh, that's about 300. Okay, got it. How much of that? I'm gonna start looking at you. And I'm not counting people pockets and stuff like that. But you make time for what you make time for. You put your money where you want your money to go. Like, well, I'm not gonna put my money to better my future because that take too long. But I can have these J's on right now, and I look good this weekend in the club. And there's nothing wrong with that, man. Like, you do that, have fun, live life. But here's the thing. You can live your life, but what do you want your life to look like? You want your life to look like that just one Saturday for 2-3 hours in the club? Or do you want your life to look like this? To where you actually have time to go in there and not, because when the club is over, you still got to go back to work on Monday. And then you got to, you have to, it seems like you have to keep up with that more than you starting this business. And let me tell you something, being a business owner, even though it's a lot of hours, I have so much fun doing this because I have full control. While everybody else driving to work, I'm in the grocery store. I'm up in Publix, give me some bread or some chicken wings out there. Y'all need to get the Mardi Gras chicken wings from Publix. So y'all got Publix over there, Latoya?
No,
the grocery
we don't,
store?
but I hear about it all the time.
I'm on my way.
And Latoya, another thing about me, I'm always talking about food.
I'm on my way.
Yeah. So it's a really dope grocery store. But yeah, I'm always talking about food too. That's another thing about me. So but it's just like, even though it's a lot more work, it's fun because the work is okay. The work is okay because you choose what work you're going to do. And even though you don't get paid unless you go eat, that gives you more of like, for an example, you work 8 hours, that's it. Even if you work overtime, that's it. You don't get no bonuses and all that stuff. Like, when you do your own thing, like, look, I could make $1,000 a week, or I could make $4, depending on how much work I put in. And you brought up a good point earlier that me and C talk about all the time, which is delegating, outsourcing your work. Stop trying to do everything by yourself. Go hire you an assistant or an expert that'll doc that out for you. When me and C got our assistant, best thing that could have happened. Best thing that could have happened. Like got us a little virtual assistant. Do you use virtual assistants?
I have a business manager that helps me.
Gotcha.
Handles a lot of that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. If you need some nice virtual assistants to do stuff, make sure you hop off podcast. Holler at us, man. We'll hook you up.
Oh yeah, I do. Just go.
Yeah. We said it quick. I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I'm already thinking about, like, when I'm ready to add one more person, who is that person and what is it going to look like? Because I'm already thinking ahead.
Right. And it's a lot cheaper. It's way cheaper. And just because it's cheaper, people just assume that it's not going to be good work. Trust me. Like, good work. They are good.
Yeah, I definitely want that information.
They go
I got you. Yeah, I got you. So, and the beautiful thing about the VAs is that when it's time, once you hire a VA that you like and they rock with you, when it's time to go find other VAs, guess what you're going to do? Do you know anybody else who need work? So that VA go help you find other VAs to help. So there's one VA
they're not gonna let them mess their name up.
They're not gonna let them mess their name up. So they're gonna pick the best people. They're like, look, with this guy, they're paying me good. They're giving me bonuses. You're not about to come in here and mess this up. So you better be serious when you come over here because we work. So that's just what it is.
Yeah,
so
for sure. Yeah. Awesome. Well, both of you have blessed me today in this conversation. Let me tell you, we can talk about so many other things and go take it somewhere else and all kinds of stuff because, I love
Latoya. Let the people know where they can find you. Do you guys have a website?
Yes, we do. It is musicmeetstheboardroom.com. musicmeetstheboardroom.com. And there you can find the services we offer, as well as the annual conference. And then if anyone's interested in working with me one-on-one, they have the opportunity to get a hold of me. And then there's freebies and all kinds of good stuff there.
When is the next conference?
The next one is September 2022. We just wrapped up the 2021 conference last weekend.
Gotcha.
And let me share what we had there. We had a marketing specialist there who helped us break down how to find your super fan and what that looks like and how to properly market in that way. We had a entertainment attorney come in and talk about copywriting and trademarks and what that process all entails. We had a gentleman come in and teach on music NFTs and how to get involved and start to use that process. And he actually opened up, what the systems look like and wallets and all that kind of stuff. And then we also had Mumu Fresh come through and bless us and share her experiences and information on, being part of the Grammy Recording Academy and being part of the board and all that stuff. So it was really, really great. We had a panel of women on Sunday just talking about women in music and special type of experiences and needs for women in music.
Shout out to the sisters.
Yes.
Real.
We had a lady who used to work for Sony Music come in and be part of that. It was very knowledgeable and things. So it was a full 2-day weekend. The artist came back the second day and was just as well as engaged. And it was really, really good. It was really good. We've already have pretty much our speakers lined up for next year because we had such an influx of interest. And I actually reached out to people. Like I knew exactly who I wanted. But people, they saw the website and they saw the information come in and they were reaching out and was like, hey, I want to be part of this. And I'm like, hey, we're full, but we'll keep you in mind for next year. And we had quite a few Grammy winners reach out wanting to be a part. And some of them were pretty big names. So you'll probably see them involved next year.
That's awesome. Let them know I know you gave them the website. Let them know the social media as well. For the lazy people that don't want to go to the website, well, is she on Instagram?
Yes, we're on Instagram. Music Meets the Boardroom. So it's basically Music Meets the Boardroom with the underscore in between each word. And then you can also find me as well, Latoya Cooper, the songstress. They call me the songstress. And I am on TikTok, heavy on TikTok. And I'm on Instagram as well, but you're going to see most of my information on TikTok. That's where I give the good stuff.
Mm-hmm. So y'all better jump on that TikTok and stop playing. Get on the TikTok. I need to get up there too. I haven't got a TikTok yet. I need to go ahead and get up there.
You know what? Don't sleep on the TikTok. I was sleeping on that TikTok and I got up on that TikTok and I said, Lord, I got this playing around over here.
I've been hearing good things about TikTok.
I love it. And I actually, speaking of hiring experts, when I first got on TikTok, I wasn't doing too well. I didn't really know what to do with it. And I found this lady on TikTok who was she would teach you how to make viral videos. And so I immediately booked a session with her. I was like, how much? Okay, booking. I kid you not, I had an 1.5-hour session with her and it completely changed my whole experience. I think when I went to her, I may have had like 2,000, 4,000 followers. And within like 3 weeks or less than a month, I'm almost at 30,000.
Wow.
See what I'm saying? But you had to pay for that information?
I had to pay for it and I was more than happy to do it.
You sure you didn't want to buy no iPhone or something with that money? You sure about it, Latoya? You didn't want to go, Birkin or anything? Okay, just wanted to make sure.
No Birkin for me. I'm telling you, I will just give me something. Like I will thrift that bag. If it's gonna push me forward, it's gonna give me that little thrift bag and I'm straight. I'll fix it up, make it look good, put a little earring on it, make it look like a little bow or whatever, and keep going and looking fly and making my money and doing my thing. So.
That's right. Investing in yourself, man. And Latoya, we really, really appreciate you, sister. Really blessing us, man. This has been ultra fun, ultra dope. You are amazing. Your brain. I'm ready to see what y'all gonna look like a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now. Because I mean that brand is just it can't be duplicated. I'm excited to see what you guys are gonna do.
Yes, thank you. And
and shout out to your publicist too, Summer.
Yes, that's my girl. She takes good care of me. Let me tell you, it ain't nothing like having a team that got your back. Let me tell you.
Oh yeah.
I don't have to. It is amazing when you have great team members. I don't have to say, Summer, let's do this, do that. She emails me, she texts me, she's like, okay, I've got this for you, or I'm on this. And I'm like, I didn't even think of that. She's 1 step ahead of me, 3 steps ahead of me. And I am just so grateful for her. She's amazing. She takes good care of me.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to Summer.
Yes. And you know what, Ron, you might have to help me negotiate that TV deal. I'm thinking over here. I'm like, you got a good idea. We might have to pitch something.
Yeah, I get we'll talk about this if you got a couple of minutes after we turn the record off. Did you got a couple of minutes?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
All right. Well, yeah, we want to thank you again, and you know what I'm saying, it's another episode. I hope y'all get this information, apply it, just do the work. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's work to come with this stuff. So you know what I'm saying.
And
do
y'all
the
hit up
work.
Latoya on TikTok. Stop being lazy. Go to her
Definitely.
TikTok. Y'all know where it's at.
Definitely. All right, so we out. It's Music and Profits Podcast.
Peace.
It's church.
Bye.